And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. We come together on the first Friday of every month to celebrate and to act as supports to each other, now as conscious creators of our own experience. And I'd have to say, over all these years, this has become one of my favorite live streaming events. It's just a great way to start the month. I found that whenever we do come together like this, you can really feel a tangible quality of support radiating from our heart, of our own soul. You know, in the past, we mostly relied on the non-physical angelic realms that exist off of this planet to experience any kind of support at all. But the energy that was flowing from these realms, they were also greatly filtered as they passed through all the layers of energy that existed outside of this planet. So these monthly gatherings, as I prefer to call them, they offer a really great opportunity. In part because I too enjoy hearing Michael's perspective on all the changes that are now impacting our life in so many different ways. And of course, this month also represents one of the biggest changes, if not the biggest change of all time. Many have prophesied about the presence or the lack of Christ consciousness on this planet. And over the last 40 years, it has played a major part in all the messages Michael has shared with us. But of course, over that time, there were a lot of things that were also prophesied. And they never really manifested in a way that we could touch, we could feel, we could see, leaving a lot of people wondering about the authentic nature of prophecies in general. But Michael has assured me that this one is real, and I trust him on this. All of you will feel it, but at least at first, it will only be experienced in a tangible, physical way by those that have prepared themselves by embracing the whole embodied human soul experience. And for those of us that have put our heart and soul into that experience, the second coming of Christ consciousness offers some long overdue support. Let's take a breath right there, because it's been a while to feel this quality of support. Here at Ancient Wings, we don't have anything planned for March the 22nd to help celebrate this grand event. Instead, we created a 3-day workshop called iMystic that starts on March the 27th to help you to integrate, deepen the presence of Christ consciousness into your own day-to-day reality. But if you visit my friends over at the Crimson Circle, I believe they do have a live event planned. I know a lot of you have reached the end of your patience as it relates to the inconsistent nature of your own soul. I know how difficult it has been for a lot of you to allow your soul to not only exist, but to exist at the front of your life. Oh, it's really great when it's there, but it can feel like crap when it isn't. So Michael and I, we spent a lot of time and energy to help all of you integrate your soul within this human physical experience. And we can now promise you that by the end of this month, things will feel a lot better. This presence, it's not going to hit you like a bolt of lightning, although I get it. Some of you would actually prefer that it did. But from my own experience, the inherent grace that is a natural part of Christ consciousness will reveal itself to all of you in a way that will also benefit your body and your mind. So if you've been contemplating, like so many are, moving on from this physical reality, I understand, I truly do. But give it a few more weeks and see how you're feeling at the end of this month. We'll check back again next month on this show with any new updates. And of course, our service to the integration of your soul continues in April, starting with our 6-month I Spirit 1 course. So from my perspective, there is so much to look forward to. There are so many new energies that are flowing in all directions that are just waiting for you to allow them to play a part in your own life. Despite what is going on inside the collective consciousness of this human family, despite all of that, these truly are the times you've been waiting for. This is why your soul incarnated on this planet, for the opportunity to experience firsthand the very presence of your own divinity. And we know it's been a really long time. And along the way, all of us created so many different distractions that we almost forgot why we are here. Well, let's be honest. We did forget. A lot of the times we were here, we did forget. And now that you have awakened from a type of trance state that had you doubting the very nature of who you really are, it's time, my friends, to come back home to you. It really is. It's time for all the games to stop. Because the reset we've been hoping and dreaming about, it starts right now. So let's begin today's webcast by taking a deep, conscious breath. And with every breath, allow the presence of your soul to be a little more present. And just notice how that choice aligns your own presence with this global group of your fellow creators that are also watching today's live stream. Let's just take a moment here and experience the support we are feeling with each other. All the love that is being openly shared just between us. Very good. Very good. Now, perhaps for the first time, we are experiencing an unfiltered version of our divine presence. And it feels simply incredible if you allow it, if you're willing to allow it. But for that to be real, we had to go through the most intense transformation any of us have ever experienced. So we want to thank all of you for choosing to participate in these monthly gatherings. It means a lot to us. And if you're new to our work, well, feel free to check out our website. There's nothing to join. We don't have any set of rules you need to follow. We do recommend that you use your common sense and just be respectful of each other. The sole purpose of our website is to openly share what we consider to be a natural state of being, your natural state of being. One that honors and respects both our human self and the multifaceted nature of our soul. Within the teachings of Michael, one facet of the soul is called the eternal self. That part of me goes by the name of Michael or Michael. Most of you know that part that is called Archangel Michael. These archangels were created by the eternal self to act as a pillar for a unique expression of the original self. You could say they exist as a byproduct of a growing perception that the original self exists outside of us. All of them act as a powerful reminder of our own divine lineage. Archangel Michael radiates the presence of truth to remind us of what? To remind us, I am that. I am. All of you also have a divine, non-physical counterpart. And it is your birthright to also experience the presence inside of your day-to-day reality. It is our passion and it's our joy to help you to make that real. It's not an easy thing to do, but at least for me, it is the most fulfilling experience I've ever had, despite all the challenges. And as any of you begin to explore a little deeper into our service, you'll find that those that participate in any of our programs, they have something in common. You can feel it here today. What are you feeling? These folks are fiercely independent. They are divinely stubborn to the core. And they are some of the most courageous, heart-centered human beings we have ever met. It's such an honor for my wife, Coca, and myself to witness those moments in your life when you allow yourself to elevate from what is not yours to carry any longer, to take flight, ascending back into what feels so natural to you because it is you. And from our human perspective, that is one of the hardest things to accept. So we posted, for those of you that are new to our work, a sample workshop in our online store on our website. So you can feel for yourself if our work truly speaks to your heart. So once again, a big thank you, not only for joining us today, but for being on this planet at this time. It would be a very lonely place without all of you. Let's take another deep breath. Most of you have known your entire life that there is something about you that was a little different. On one hand, you like being who you are and really don't understand why that might be a problem for others. but you discovered within the collective consciousness of this planet, being unique, creative, or free thinking, well, it doesn't always dance well with the rest of humanity. Most of you survived being labeled many things, mainly as a type of outcast or a rebel. So as we tune into the energy of this group that is here today, we can feel both your magnificence and an underlying sense of doubt, worry, and concern. Because being human isn't an easy thing to do, is it? Being conscious of being human is even harder. Being conscious of the presence of your soul while also being human is so rare that it's considered by most people to be delusional. And no matter where you find yourself today, we welcome you. Depending on how you look at it, who you might think you are really has very little to do with who you really are. And who you really are is not a singular being that is having a linear experience as a human being. So from your human perspective, it's pretty easy to identify with the multifaceted layers of your own humanity, beginning with the child part that lives inside of you. We refer to that as being the magical child. It's still there if you're willing to allow it to come forward. It's that part of you that is very comfortable existing outside the boundaries of a physical reality. And there is also the adolescent part. It too still exists inside of you, still living with some of those conflicted feelings about what it means to be free, and if it's even possible as a human being to experience true freedom. And of course, there is that adult version of you. And if you tune into the adolescent part, it looks at what it becomes in you now after all these years. And for the most part, what are you feeling? What we're seeing in all of you, it's pretty blown away. Really? I become this? So maybe it's time to celebrate who you are now and invite that part of you, the adolescent part, to stop projecting its own fears into this now moment. So from your human part, using time and space as your background, it's not too much of a stretch for any of you to acknowledge the multifaceted nature of the child, adolescent, and human adult parts of your human self. Because your mind perceives these parts of you as a series of experiences that help to create your current identity. But when we suggest that your natural state is not even physical, that can be a little challenging for your human part to accept. In the non-physical realms, your natural experience of life, let's say it another way, you naturally experience life as a multifaceted, multidimensional being. So how are your human parts dealing with that? Just take a moment here and feel into how your human part is dealing with that. Can you acknowledge it? And can you also just accept this is a big leap for the human part of you? To accept at face value that your natural part is not even physical? Indeed. On that note, this would be the perfect time for me, Robert, the human part, with my soul, Kethra, to step back and to allow Michael, my divine part, or my eternal self, to step forward. Michael always tunes into the energy of these gatherings. And by doing that, then offers a message to help answer some of your questions or concerns. But if some of you prefer an even more direct exchange, well, you're welcome to join us every 3 months during our Ask Michael sessions on our website. And if you want to learn more about these, stay tuned at the end of today's show. Deep breath, my friends. And thank you, Robert. Indeed, it is I, Michael, in service to your passion, to experience that part of you that is already free. Free of what? Free of guilt? Free of shame? Free of doubt, worry, and all of those concerns? Free of time? Free of trying to become free? Indeed, you see, my friends, you already have the freedom to perceive life in any manner you want. And there are some beings who would suggest that is why creation, in and of itself, eventually became so unbalanced, polarized. Having the freedom to perceive any given reality in any manner you choose. Earth now acting as a reflection of that very freedom. Up close and personal. And so you don't miss a beat, it's also shown in slow motion. There are some that suggest that it would be far easier if you could appoint someone, anyone, to help manage all of these free-flowing energies that support such a freedom. Some of these beings created an externalized version of your mind and gave it the title of something divine. And there are also beings who feel that such an act would violate not only your freedom, but the very nature of the original self. All of us received from the original self, the original gift. The gift to experience yourself in any manner you choose. Was it a gift? Is it a gift? Is it still a gift? Of course, from your human experience, to suggest that you are the original self too, that represents a real challenge. Within the presence of your soul, or without the presence of your soul, it just sounds like a very inflated ego. And if not for the presence of your soul, that might be true. So this thing called freedom has been seen as a blessing for some, but it also appears to be a curse to others. Because the nature of true freedom, divine freedom, has no boundaries. True love also has no boundaries. But can it be managed? And if it is that truly love? So how can an endless variety of beings throughout all of creation coexist? All of them with the inherent freedom to experience their life in any manner they choose, both on this planet and off of it. What part of you would allow free expression without the fear of its own freedom being denied? What parts inside of you have you labeled as being divine and which ones are not? Because that very perception from within creates its own story, multiplied by countless beings. It becomes an agreed upon collective reality. We invite all of you right here to feel into the energy behind our words. Because so much of what you're dealing with as a human being is directly connected to a very ancient perception. It helped to create our original cosmic story. That story continued to grow until it stopped. And how does that relate to your human experience? What did all of you discover that allowed your personal story as a human being the opportunity to now expand? Indeed, you allowed the divine presence of your soul to be present in this now moment. But it wasn't until you allowed this part of you to also be present that things really started to shift. Because at the core of who you are, as a divine being, your perception of reality is never conflicted. Some of you experienced, perhaps for the first time as a human being, the presence of the original self, God. Many of you call it your divinity. But how did this presence end up changing your life? Well, for some of you, you discovered by allowing this presence to perceive reality through your human eyes, you experienced a type of innocence that was incredibly pure. Can you feel that, my friends? A type of innocence that is just incredibly pure. And at the same time, what a lot of you are feeling right now, very intimidating to other parts of you. And that alone was a remarkable experience. You experienced perhaps for the first time that all is indeed well. At least it is inside of this presence. This experience is so foreign to your human senses that it was almost rejected by some of you as being yet another illusion. But the more you allowed this part of you to coexist with your human self, the more comfortable you became embracing this presence now as being you too. And your perception of your own reality once again shifted big time. This divine presence no longer felt alien to your human self. And for some of you, you experience yet another shift. And a reality that was denying such a presence started to appear, at least to you, to be an illusion. From this pure and divine perspective, the collective consciousness on this planet no longer appeared to be real to you, at least through the eyes of your own divinity. Because this family of yours wasn't allowing their own divine nature, the presence of consciousness, which creates everything, to support them. In other words, consciousness played no part in that reality. And this created inside of many of you a great sadness to your human heart. Most of you didn't fully embrace your divine nature until it too became a part of your own reality. But the overwhelming sadness you felt while witnessing so much pain and suffering, it almost broke your human heart. To the point that you weren't so sure if you could continue living alongside a family that is unconscious of what you discovered for yourself. And yet here you are, once again. What you are seeing on this beautiful planet called Earth, my friends, it also exists off of this planet. But now it is as if all creation is now being reset. Not by forcing it to change. Oh, as a human being, you tried that countless times, did you not? But it never was able to sustain itself, the change. Outside of all those power games, creation is being reset by allowing the grace of consciousness itself to be in your life. Because, my friends, pain and suffering is not a natural part of being. Oh, indeed. We have all participated in it one way or another. But there comes a point in every creator's life, an opportunity to do what? Well, to choose again. All of you knew at different times in your own experience that your life no longer felt like it was yours. So many energies felt stuck inside of you. These energies lacked the freedom to flow. You realized, for the most part, you had inherited these energies from your family, your friends, and the collective consciousness of this human family. They were literally interfering with your sense of clarity. That made it almost impossible for you to perceive what you now embrace as being real. So you spent years releasing, transcending, what was never yours to carry. It was not only hard on you, but everyone around you, including your family. But you also knew this represented something that was really, really important. Not because you're here to save the world. You are here to forgive yourself from not fully embracing the original gift with all your heart. This gift wasn't about recreating the same reality you left called the kingdom, your original home. This gift was the opportunity for the original self to experience itself, but now with your name on it as an individuated, multifaceted, sovereign being. Creation started to go sideways when so many beings lost sight of our natural state of consciousness. So much energy has been spent on trying to get back to something that no longer exists as it once did. All that is became all that has been, which brings us back to this now moment here on earth. All of creation has been waiting for the very opportunity that most of you have now allowed for eons. An opportunity that would shift the direction creation was headed. An opportunity that could only come about if enough creators were willing to not only embrace, but embody the original gift as a human being. By embracing, I am that. I am. I am the original self too, which naturally expands into we are that. We are, which embraces our natural state of being multifaceted and multidimensional. We are indeed all these parts of our soul. We are, which naturally expands into your divine nature. God is, realizing that your pure, innocent, and divine nature exists inside all parts of you. It took a few soul beings who are willing to explore from the inside out the quality of their own reality and a willingness to acknowledge where parts of their own story was indeed stuck, not moving, not expanding, to find a way to get back into the natural flow of your own divine presence. Those of you that are here today, you do not represent the majority of human beings. You already get that. But you also don't represent the majority of non-physical beings. You have yet to acknowledge that. You do, however, represent those that have chosen to carry the seeds of Christ's consciousness deep inside of you. You brought these very seeds to this planet, which represent your freedom, with the hope that eventually they would grow, not from the sun or the rain, but from the light of your own consciousness. And after all this time, they did. It's been a long and I might say an incredible adventure. And now that too is shifting. And by the end of this month, all of you that have embraced the responsibility for sharing these seeds, you will feel a shift. At first, very subtle, but it will grow. I promise that, beyond anything your human self has ever experienced. The separation that has existed on this planet is now changing big time. It will feel to most of you like someone has opened a window inside a house that is in desperate need of some fresh air, allowing for your divine nature to dance with your human self. Now in ways that have never been experienced on this planet in this way before. And because of that, your own creativity, your creations, will begin to manifest in ways you have only dreamt of. This, my friends, is the second coming of Christ consciousness. This is not the time to buckle your seatbelts. It's time to allow those free-flowing energies to now support you. This is not the time to let those parts of you that doubt your magnificence to continue to choose for you. Nor is it the time to pretend you're not the original self too. You almost convinced yourself. You convinced everybody else. You almost convinced yourself, but that was going a little too far, was it not? Now is the time to reveal, at least energetically, who you truly are. So let's take that collective deep breath once again. And with rapid fire changes impacting this planet now on a daily basis, without your presence, the tender hearts of your human family would feel even more traumatized. There is a common theme to our message that many of you have heard many times before: to be on this planet but not of it. Which means you have chosen not to participate in what doesn't feel natural to you. This incredible reunion between the human and soul can feel like you're returning home. It hasn't been this way for any of you for a long time. You used to fight back against those that enjoy playing power games, because you can clearly see it's just not natural to manipulate or to try to control the lives of any other being. It's clearly not natural to kill one another. But you also discovered that by pushing back, you too were now an active player inside one of those power games. Oh, maybe you didn't play the part of the dictator, but you certainly fell right into the role of the victim. So it took a lot of courage to step back and to look within. And it was here that you found the source of these games. It wasn't evil. It wasn't even dark. At its core, all of these power games are just looking for more energy to support its own agenda outside of itself. Here on Earth, it acts as a reflection of how all creation started to perceive the original self, consciousness, existing outside of itself. So the part you are now playing is actually quite new. It's really rare for any being to allow the presence of the individuated facet of the original self to support itself as being that too. But that is exactly what most of you watching today's show have chosen for yourself, which over all these lifetimes, the energy from such a choice began to change the dynamics of this planet. What has been polarized for eons is starting to flow in all directions. And for most of you, that represents the freedom to express yourself freely, without fear. But to the power players, it represents the loss of some key players inside a game that relies on extracting, stealing, or consuming energies to support itself. The consequence from such a choice, to allow your own natural energies to now support you, my friends, are simply mind-boggling, because it changes everything, including our original story. Let's take another deep breath. So the gift that was freely handed down to all beings from the original self grants unlimited freedom. Consciousness itself will support whatever experience you choose for yourself. And if any being chooses to deny such a presence, so be it. What you discovered is consciousness didn't interfere with that choice either. From the purity of the original self, it doesn't make this into a right or wrong choice. My friends, the source of life will never try to manage or control the freedom that it already exists within you. Is that a gift? To be that too? Or has that become a burden? It's a choice you must make for yourself. There are enough human beings on this planet that have now chosen life as being sacred. They have made the choice to take full and complete responsibility for their own experience. That choice has allowed your soul to be present, which has allowed the presence of the original self at the core of your soul to also be present, which has created an opening in the heavens for Christ consciousness to now support that choice, which gives all human beings the freedom to experience such a presence for themselves. This presence will not allow itself to become diluted in service to your human nature in all of these underlying power games. And our generalized description should give you some idea of what lies ahead of you. It will make it even more important to embrace the whole notion of being on this planet, but not of it. Let's take a deep breath. Your service, my friends, to this grand event, grand cosmic and planetary event, will appear to some to be kind of selfish, perhaps even vain. But it supports your choice to no longer compromise your presence just to make others around you more comfortable. Throughout the history of this planet, there have been a few who experienced their own divine nature like you. And like you, it did set them apart from the collective consciousness on this planet. Some followed their living example, but most just thought they were deluded. Your fellow masters from your past experienced their own type of awakening. They realized, just like you, that they had become hypnotized by mass consciousness, as if living their life in a trance state. And when you awaken from such a state, it's very natural to want to share with others your new state of consciousness. Perhaps, like with Robert, it takes the form of a teaching. But for the most part, it is the energetic radiance of your own energy that will communicate with this human family all it needs to know. But the question remains, will they stop playing follow the leader long enough to actually feel what all of you are sharing? It's a hard choice to make when you're not so sure about the subtle nature of the soul, as all of you discovered for yourself. And now for some of you, your human self has finally allowed it to sit in its rightful place at the front of your life. It represents such a beautiful and perhaps an awkward transition. Beautiful because of the brilliance of your own light. Awkward because your human part doesn't feel it deserves or is worthy of such an experience. And yet it is. After all these years, kicking and screaming, for some of you, your human part has finally relaxed. Just relaxed. It finally stopped. Whatever you were doing, it just stopped and relaxed into the grace of who you also are. But there will be days when you're not so sure you can watch this collective transition continue to unfold, because power is very seductive. But in your own reality, pain and suffering, they no longer feel natural to you. And that's not an easy thing to own when it's become such a natural part of the human experience. So once again, as Michael, I want to thank all of you for doing the hardest part. You are the ones that are here on this planet during one of the most significant periods inside of all creation. It would have been far easier to watch all of this unfold from the balcony seats on a distant planet, as many are as we speak. They are both amazed at what they are witnessing and a little confused, as it appears to them that the free-flowing energy of Christ's consciousness cannot be managed or controlled. And the good news, or is it? They would be right. They wonder how such a presence, might impact their own life, their own reality. So before we bring today's session to a close, remember to love yourself. Remember to nurture those bodies of yours. Give yourself plenty of opportunities to enjoy the experience of being human too. And if we can help you to become more conscious of the reality you are creating, that is indeed our passion and our joy. Take care, my friends. Until the next time.